Good evening and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. As always, we're back with another massive show to bring you on this Tuesday evening. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching, and let's get straight on into it. On the show this evening, we will be reacting to the story that Erik ten Hag has apparently banned certain members of the media, including Kaveh Solihull from Sky Sports, also Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News, amongst a couple of others as well. So we will be talking about that. We'll also be talking about more dressing room leaks, more chaos coming out from Manchester United. It's just the circus over and over again at the moment. Lots of other bits to get into as well on tonight's show. As always, do make sure to have your say, get involved in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss on today's show. So let's give you a bit of a rundown of where today has gone. So at about lunchtime today, obviously Erik ten Hag did his pre-match press conference for the game against Chelsea tomorrow. Now, ahead of this game, Manchester United, Erik ten Hag, have banned Sky Sports chief reporter Kaveh Solihull, the Manchester United chief Manchester United correspondent Samuel Luckhurst, the Mirror's David McDonnell and Rob Dawson have all been banned from joining Erik ten Hag in his press conference today. You know what? I'll say this from the beginning. This is the best thing that Erik ten Hag has done since he's been at Manchester United, apart from winning us that trophy last year. I think a lot of these people put out stuff that I think has probably been given to them by one player, somebody who probably is already on the way out of the club, somebody who's got an agenda against Erik ten Hag. And I just think it's unnecessary. And Manchester United have done a statement as well. They've said, ultimately that these reporters should have come to the club first and asked for a comment before they put this story out. They didn't go about it in the right way. And I would agree with that, to be honest. I think they've gone about this in a terrible way. And they've effectively been banned from being anywhere near Manchester United now. So quite interesting. But obviously, yeah, I've got no issue with it, to be honest. I think it's one of, as I said, one of the best things that he's done. And I think, getting rid of these negativities from around the club is nothing but a positive. So fair play to him on that one. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming days, really. Will they be allowed to come to the press conferences in the future? I'm not sure. I remember, was it about 10 years ago, Sir Alex Ferguson famously banned, I think it was the BBC, wasn't it, from ever coming to his interviews because of, I think it was a story they put out about his daughter, or it was something. They did something and he wasn't happy about it and he just banned them and that was it. And the BBC were unable to report on Manchester United for years because they obviously weren't allowed in the meetings. So yeah, I think this shows a sign of Erik ten Hag's power and the club stamping things out. Now, obviously, these people who've been banned have tried to spin it the other way around and ultimately trying to make out that Manchester United are silencing them and are not allowing them to report these factual stories that have been given to them, which I guess is one side of it, but I think it's a little bit rich to say that 50% of the dressing room have turned against him. That was the story that's upset Manchester United, that ultimately the players aren't playing for him anymore. They've turned against him. They're not happy with the amount of running he's making them doing. Like, they went into quite a lot of detail. So, yeah, I thought it was quite interesting and I was quite happy that he'd gone and done it. Since then, another story came out saying that apparently the rest of the team are really angry as it's been apparently two people who've been doing these leaks. It says the Manchester United squad are angry at two players for leaking stories to the media. The majority of the squad are frustrated with these negative leaks, which all come from two players, and feel it's not reflective of the situation at the club. So there you go. We've had a bit of clarity. That was coming out from somebody else in the last couple of hours. I'm not really up for getting into who it is, why they're doing it, because I think we don't know, do we? So we can guess. I'm sure everybody has a little bit of an idea of who these two people are. But yeah, I don't really want to speculate on it. So obviously, if you have your own opinion on who that is, that's completely fine. But I don't really want to put out on the internet that I think it's this person without any particular evidence, because I think that's a little bit unfair. So I'm not going to do that. But two people apparently have been putting these leaks out. And if I'm Manchester United, whoever those two people are should never play for the club ever again. My feeling is it's probably two people who know they're never going to play for the club again, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to say any more than that, but I would be very surprised if it was someone like Bruno Fernandes or Harry Maguire or somebody who's a big part of the team. It will be somebody who's on the sidelines, somebody who's not getting picked, somebody who's maybe fallen out with the manager, and somebody who ultimately knows that their future isn't at Manchester United. So they're putting out these stories ultimately to damage his reputation. And maybe they're thinking, you know, if we put out enough of these stories, maybe he'll be gone and I'll get a second chance. That's my stance on it. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong there. Let me know what you guys think. Right, let's crack on with the rest of the show though. Now, this one is a name that I'm not really that excited about. Manchester United have apparently today been linked to Marlon, who is a Dutch winger who plays his football for Borussia Dortmund. Donnell Marlon. I'm not that excited about this player, to be honest. The story coming out this afternoon is that Manchester United might look at signing him as a replacement for Jadon Sancho. Obviously, he plays on the right wing. He can also play as a striker and as a right winger. Very, very quick. Good with both feet. Good with his weak foot and is quite skillful. I just think, again, it's just another Dutch player. And I think we've got, you know, most of our team now are people who've either played in the Eredivisie or, you know, people that Erik ten Hag knows, which hasn't really worked so far, has it? I would rather us actually scout and bring in the best people available, opposed to bringing in somebody just because Erik ten Hag knows him or Erik ten Hag likes him. I think that we're kind of past those days yet. I think Erik ten Hag's the right man for the job, but I want a lot of this power to be taken away from him and to be given to Ineos when they come in, you know, to Jim Ratcliffe, to Paul Mitchell, to Jean-Claude Blanc, to Sir Dave Brailsford. Like, I want those to be the people making these big decisions at Manchester United in response to buying players. I don't think that should be Erik ten Hag's job. It never has been a job of a football manager to be the scout, the person buying all the players. Like, that isn't how it should be, in my opinion. So yeah, I think we need to try and swiftly move on from this area and hope that, when Jean-Claude Blanc and Paul Mitchell come in, that they ultimately take over this area, because I think it is really, really important that Manchester United get this right and that Manchester United start recruiting proper players, not just people that Erik ten Hag once knew in the Eredivisie or Dutch players that he's got a relationship with. Like, I think those days are over. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think about that. Do you agree with me, or do you think that Erik ten Hag should be allowed to keep signing players? I think, a lot of his signings haven't maybe worked, but I'm not really going to put all of that blame on him, to be completely honest, because he never should have been making those decisions in the first place. It should have been up to the director of football, but John Murtough and Richard Arnold were never good enough to be able to do their job properly. Let's have a look. Richie says we'll soon find out who the two players are, as they won't be in the squad. Yeah, to be honest with you, Richie, I think it's two players who aren't in the squad already. So that kind of gives a bit of an idea of who it might be. Fred says it has to be the players who were under the previous manager. Yeah, of course it does, mate. Of course it does. Scott says, I like that Rooney character who plays for Copenhagen. Yeah, I mean, he was very good against us, wasn't he, in the Champions League? Michael says some of the players recently linked with Manchester United are average at best. We need to identify the best young players in the world and develop them and win, lose or draw. I agree with you, mate. Somebody says, do you think it was the right decision to ban the reporters? Mate, 100%. 100%. Like, we know that these reporters are out to get Erik ten Hag. It's very, very obvious. It's been like that for a very long time. Yeah, so I think it was the right decision, but let me know in the comment section, guys. Do you think it was the correct decision for Erik ten Hag to ban these reporters? Do you think it maybe shows a sign of weakness of him? Let me know what you guys think. For me, I've got absolutely zero doubt about it. I respect Erik ten Hag for doing it. I think it shows us his power ultimately within the club, that the club backed him in this type of thing, so I do respect him for doing it. I really, really do. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe you think he handled it wrong. Maybe you think that something else should have happened. Let me know what you guys think, because I always do like to see what you have to say. Right, let's move on to the next story though. Let's keep things moving on the show this evening. Just really, really quickly as well, the Manchester Evening News have ultimately done what do you want to call it? They've spoken out against what's happened here. And they've ultimately said that we suggest that Manchester United looks closer to home for the sources of these stories rather than shooting the messenger. So, I mean, this story that Manchester Evening News put out was literally about 10 paragraphs long. Yeah. There's a bit of breaking news coming out in the last couple of seconds as well, actually, that apparently John Murtough is keen to work within the new setup when Ineos start moving into Old Trafford next week. I mean, does he not just get the idea that nobody wants him here? Maybe he can have a job somewhere in the club, but I don't want him anywhere near the CEO or director of football job. Nowhere near it. And the same article also says Jim Ratcliffe did not ask Richard Arnold to leave Manchester United. Arnold knew the writing was on the wall and decided to announce his decision to leave on his own terms before the end of the year. I mean, I respect that. I fully respect Richard Arnold for acknowledging that he wasn't going to be part of the new look Manchester United, and having the balls ultimately to say, you know what, this isn't going to work here for me, and go. So yeah, I respect that a lot. What else have we got? You right there, boy? The dogs come up. Do you want to come up? You want to come up here? Come up here. Come on. Up you come. Cosy up. Up. Oh, there we go. What else have we got in the chat? Don't know if you can see the dog. He's just come up. I've got both the dogs up here today, which is... He's just trying to steal things off the table. Let's see if you can see him a bit better. There we go. Right, let's see what everyone's saying in the chat today. Oh, there he is. Oh, he doesn't like the camera much. Do you want to stay up here? Good boy. What else have we got? The other dog's here as well now. Oh my god, it's a dog party. Go on, down you go. Off you go. Go away. Right, let's get back to it. Richie says Ineos got rid of 30 players at Nice. They're flying now. They'll do the same at Manchester United. Mate, I hope you're right. I do. I hope you are right. Those were the two dogs. They've broken their way up the stairs. Let's have a look. Scott says maybe Murta could walk players' dogs or something. Yeah, I mean, he could walk my dog. I would let him walk my dog, no problem. Right, let's see what else we've got planned for today. A little bit distracted there by the dog, but that's all part of the fun, isn't it? All part of the fun. Once he comes up, he doesn't seem to want to leave. Just a really quick one on the takeover. I know everyone's sick to death of it, but Fabrizio Romano is reporting that apparently the documents will be signed next week for Jim Ratcliffe's 25% stake in Manchester United. Now, you know what? At this point, I just want it to happen. I want it to be over and done with. I want Paul Mitchell, Jean-Claude Blanc, Sir Dave Brailsford, Sir Jim Ratcliffe to come in and just to get a hold of the club and to really, really send us in the right direction. Yes, maybe it's not the full takeover immediately. Yes, maybe they're not going to clear all the debt. I get all the negatives involved in this deal, but I'm starting to have a bit more faith about it. I think that it would be very, very difficult to make the situation worse than it is now. And as Richie said earlier on in the chat, like, he has done quite a good job at Nice, and he got rid of a lot of deadwood there. He has done quite good. So I'm hopeful that he can come in and at least try and better this current situation, because I genuinely don't think it could get any worse than where we are right now, personally. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Irvin says, are the dogs leaking the information now? Possibly, mate. Possibly. Somebody says Daily Red Dogs. George says class dogs. Thanks everyone. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Obviously when Sheikh Jassim pulled out, I was sad. We had this carrot dangled in front of our faces. I thought this could be our future. No more debt, new stadium, all of these great things. But now I'm living in reality. I genuinely believe right here, right now, that it can only get better with Jim Ratcliffe and all the rest of those people involved. I genuinely believe that. I don't think it's going to get worse. And I'm feeling quite positive about the future now, because I feel like we are at rock bottom at the moment, as we have been for a while. Obviously, we're not playing particularly well. The players are throwing their toys out of the pram, leaking information, the stadium, all of these things. Like, everything is going badly, and I think it's only going to start going up from here. So let's try and stay positive. Obviously, we've got a massive game tomorrow, which we will talk a little bit now in this part of the show. I don't think I'll do a match preview for that game, to be honest, but we'll kind of do it now together. So what I want you guys to do is to get involved in the comment section now and let me know what your score prediction is for the game against Chelsea tomorrow. Obviously, it's an evening kickoff. I think it's an 8:15 kickoff tomorrow, isn't it? I think it's on Amazon Prime as well, which is interesting. It's the fixture. I think they have 1 or 2 fixtures a year that are on Amazon Prime. Yeah, so it's an 8:15 p.m. kickoff. In relation to injury news, it's pretty much the same as it was before. The same people. Diallo's not available. Sancho's obviously not available. Eriksen, Evans, Mount, Martinez, Malacia, Casemiro. Those are kind of our injuries. Over to Chelsea. They've got a couple of injuries, but I think, what's he called? Reece James is back from suspension. So they're gonna have a strong side. They're they're going to have a strong side. Obviously, they've just come off the back of beating Brighton. We have to win this game tomorrow. I think if we don't win this game tomorrow, it's going to be really, really difficult. I think it's going to, I think we're going to win, though. I do. Chelsea at this point, I don't think they look that good. I think us and Chelsea look kind of level. We both look a little bit all over the place. I think it's going to be relatively tight. I don't think we'll absolutely batter them. I'm going to go 3-2 Manchester United. I think we'll take the lead. I think we'll be in the lead the whole way, if that makes sense. It'll be like 1-0, 1-0, 2-1, 2-2, and then we'll win 3-2, I reckon. But let me know in the comment section, guys, what is your score prediction for the Chelsea game tomorrow? Are you nervous about it? Somebody says 3-3. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. Somebody else says they think it'll be a draw. Carl says Rashford, Sancho, maybe McTominay and Martial are the leaks. Definitely the English players. Fair enough. I mean, you might be right. I don't know. Irvin says, any news on Rashford leaving and Casemiro staying? No, mate. I don't think Rashford's going anywhere, to be honest with you. I would be absolutely shocked if Rashford ever left Manchester United. Martin says, Man United make Luton look amazing. I mean, we did narrowly beat Luton. They probably deserved to get a point out of that game, if I'm being completely honest, when they played us at home a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? It's just where we are. Right, let's have a quick look if there's anything else in the chat. I think that's everything. Obviously, at the moment, everything's a bit negative. Everyone's feeling a bit down. You know, the player power stuff is coming over and over again. I think my internet seems to be going a little bit. So I'm going to wrap the show up here, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me. Fred says, do you think Erik ten Hag will be safe if we lose tomorrow against Chelsea? Yeah, I think he'll be safe tomorrow. I think they'll give him till January, 100%. I would be shocked. I'll say this, actually. Maybe not. If we were to lose against Chelsea, lose against Bournemouth on the weekend, and then lose to Bayern and Liverpool, I think he would probably be gone. If we lose our next 4 games in a row. But I think we'll beat Chelsea. I think we'll beat Bournemouth. I think we could beat Bayern, but I think we'll lose to Liverpool. I'm not saying we'll play well. I'm not sitting here saying we're going to beat Bayern 5-0. Like, we might narrowly beat them because they have nothing to play for. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched the show this morning. I will be back, as always, about 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. Have a lovely evening, everybody, and speak soon.